So before we start, I'm going to open this package. Well, I'm not quite sure how to do that. Oh, well, there we go. I guess I already cut it open. This is just sleeves for cards, nothing complicated. As you can see, it's Bakemonogatari. I've actually already gotten some before. I just decided to get however many more. This is either 40 or 60. I don't know. The idea is it's I might be trying to make a commander deck. So I kind of figured as my first commander deck I should use special cards, something or the other, to tell it apart. Oh gosh, that's a thing. Oh. There should be two things in here. Yes. And there's the receipt. And DD+BD North Star. So let's set that aside and open the Amazon package. There we go. The trick is to do it without causing the cardboard to fall apart. It's been a while since the DVDs have been packed in one of these, but this was a particularly big week. So we can set that aside. And what am I gonna do for this one? Okay, let's get through these real quick then. First off, we've got Devil Survivor 2 on Blu-ray, Region A, English dub. Does that mean that DVD version got released, or was the older one? Well, I mean, there was an older DVD release, but did this all just get re-released on DVD and Blu-ray, and I only got the Blu-ray version? I can't even get my fingers into the plastic, because the transformative thing there is open. Oh, well, that worked. Well, I guess I'll have to do a little research on this, but it's not like this is the only thing I have to catch up on. So again, you know, those normally stay shut like that. I don't know how these compare to the first release, but we've got Devil Survivor 2. Excuse me. And next up we got Naruto Shippuden DVD set 22. Episodes 271 through 283. More Naruto Shippuden. Hard to say if I can remember exactly what happened last time. Oh well. Getting into the DVD, it's naturally pretty simple. They usually are. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not as nice as it could be, but I'm just glad we're still getting anime. Let's see. This is either Unlimited Psychic Squad or Psychic Squad Unlimited. This is related to the Zettai Carrying Children one that was simply called Psychic Squad. My understanding, this is a flash forward OVA of some sort, not a continuation of that story per se. Let's see, Devil Survivor 2 is Sentai. So Sentai seems to be closing this parts of their Blu-ray releases now, which makes it kind of tricky to get them open, especially when you can't get a good firm grasp on the plastic up here. There we go. Just make a little opening, and if I can get a hold of it again, then I'll just keep going. At least it's not sticking. So, first off, Region A, and Japanese with English subtitles, which is consistent with the previously released series. So we've got those 3 disc arts. And in here we have same first disc, and it looks like the same second discs. So if you're a fan of the Lolly character, that's unfortunate, I guess. Next up we've got Space Brothers Collection 2. And unlike last time, now I know that this is a longer than 26 episode series. So there could be a number of more releases. I didn't watch the first one though. Oh dear. Let's see. Can I get this? Can I get this? Bigger and bigger until it breaks off. Alright, so this is Region A only, Japanese with English subtitles. Honestly, they look mostly the same, and they say 1, 2, 3. But kind of said in here 1 and 2. So nothing too spectacular, but it's always nice that these series get to come out. Next up, we got the second season of Freezing, called Freezing Vibration. I remember the first one being, was it somewhat okay? I don't know. If there's one thing I've learned recently, it's that I always seem to have a much better opinion of things in retrospect. So this is Region A and B, and this is why I check every single time. Naturally, it's English dubbed. So this one is Blu-ray 1, Blu-ray 2, according to that. Got more characters on the inside cover, and Blu-ray 1 and Blu-ray 2. It's interesting how they are actually just spelling it out. Doesn't seem particularly common. And this, of course, would be the 2 DVD versions. Of course, we want to see characters on the inside, which through this camera lens on the small screen on the back, they both look the same, or they all look the same, whatever. Next up, we got more Monogatari. This would be Sugura Devil. Hanamonogatari? Suruga Devil. Kind of close. Right letters. Wrong order. This one, of course, I don't have to worry about the security tab because it's a very Japanese style release, I guess. I guess before we look at that, I should reveal the entirety of the artwork. There's not much more to it underneath this, but always good to check. So here's the Blu-ray itself. Same artwork. Zoomed, and of course simple background. Info booklet. This is the Aniplex proof of purchase. Hanamonogatari limited edition Blu-ray set, and of course cards. Postcards. Looks like very alternate art of all of these characters. And as usual, the 2 pieces of art used to decorate the box and the Blu-ray. Now the trick of getting them back in is getting those to not stick. Alright. And second to last but not least, The Garden of Sinners, Recalled Out Summer. Which I'm not entirely sure what it is, but I'm not going to not get it. So, first of all, I guess this side, looking at the entirety of the artwork, would be nice. Very nice. Very Type Moonish. I say that because, well, I've been watching Fate's Day Night Unlimited Blade Works. What order to look at these in? Part of me likes to keep the order of the contents the same, even if that's nigh impossible. That's a Blu-ray. That's a Blu-ray. Now, I said I don't know what this is, but I should probably clarify that my understanding is that there was maybe another sort of movie thing made. I don't know if that's actually the case, but I probably will once I do get around to watching this. I'm not sure how I'll prioritize it. So naturally we've got the artwork for the case, and then we've got some additional ones. So that one's on the DVD side. Well, the Blu-ray case, really. Feels like, did I grab only one? They feel a little strange. Not like bad strange, but maybe less fancy postcardy and regular postcardy, perhaps. Like, there's postcards out there that if you didn't know any better, you could easily mistake them for plastic. But these are definitely paper. Which would be funny if they actually weren't and they were plastic meant to feel like paper, and to put this back on or not. I'll probably leave that for later. Now, like I said, that's not the last but not least, because if you forgot, there's also this box, which is a Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin 1. This is the Blu-ray Collector's Edition, and I've only opened this up and then took a peek in and closed it because I knew this one would be tricky to look at. In fact, one problem right now is that I think I need to raise the camera to max level in order to get the entirety of this thing on the picture. It looks a lot like a Laserdisc, but as well, I guess you can't necessarily see. In some Blu-ray boxes could be that thick, but it's far too light to be that, and it says Blu-ray on it. So let's dive into this mystery. I'll set that aside and worry about putting it back in later if I do. A lot of that will come down to what the insides of this look like. Okay, so this piece of paper here, I guess, needs to come off like that because it just lifts open, apparently. So let's see. This here appears to be the Blu-ray and storyboard and animation setting book. Okay, that's pretty cool. Maybe pretty simple, but I at least think it's cool. So this is probably the non-collector's edition release here, assuming I can open it up. There we go. Now, I didn't import this, so whoa. So this is definitely one of those things that I will put back into the plastic if I can, just to hold all this stuff together. Looks like, I mean, it's called The Origin, so I'm guessing, well, I don't know. I don't want to guess for this one. This is just an interesting mystery. Like, I didn't even hear about this being released. I mean, I paid more attention to the fact that Turn Gundam is going to get a DVD release, and that one has interesting, what's the word for it? It's something like a fan interpretation, I guess. A fan opinion. Fans of Turn Gundam? Fans of Gundam? I'm not sure. It's kind of an oddball series, but not too bad. Some people consider it smart, maybe. So, we've now gotten into the inside of it, and we had to dig quite deep. Oh look, another little booklet. And unfortunately, I can't flip it Japanese style. But that one actually had some mechas in it, so now we know it's Gundam. As if the title itself wasn't enough. Mobile Suit Gundam, The Origin. Let's see, can we get any interesting information off the back here? I can see myself, but it's all Japanese. So I'm pretty much trusting that it's got English subtitles, or even an English dub, which I think we've seen with some Gundam stuff. So the big question is, maybe I don't need to keep this in its plastic if I keep it in here. Oh well, why don't I set this aside and worry about that off camera so that I can take this, put it on top of here, and let's lower the camera back down for the final shot of the everything this week. So, I think it was actually it was a pretty good update. Look at that. Nice good update this week. So it's hard to remember, but I think last week I was just finishing up these first 4 episodes of Denki Gai. And it was okay. I mentioned wanting a little more stimulation than student council's discretion gave, and this one had it. It's definitely not the sort of thing that drills its way into your mind and brings on life of its own, which may be why I never heard its name before. It doesn't mean people didn't talk about it, but it did mean that there wasn't enough people talking about it that I hadn't heard anybody talking about it. But that said, I'm pretty sure I've seen either the artwork or something like that. One of the anime faces on the anime subreddit. Anyways, there's not much else to say about it. It's just a nice series. So as an obvious follow-up, I went with the other Pony Canyon release, which is Yuki Yuna is a Hero. And well, obviously you can kind of guess from the front that it's a magical girl series, and it was okay. There's actually some really neat twists to the concept in there. Nothing that would kind of blow away your mind like Play the Madoka Magica, but I guess it's okay to mention that one, but the friend who's in the wheelchair is a very interesting addition to the series. And otherwise, of these 4 episodes, I can't help but feel like it kind of feels a little Naruto-ish, where I'm referring to one specific concept in the first Naruto series where if you watched it, you probably get the feeling at some point that Naruto isn't the main character, even though he's the titular character. It's like everybody else but Naruto is more important than Naruto. And this one kind of teeters on the balance, where it's one of those interesting things, because it's not bad because of it, but it's just subtly enough there that I kind of wish Yuki Yuna was the hero and that was the thing being talked about, but it's not. And I'm interested in seeing more episodes. Quite curious where it's going, because it's also breaking a couple of other conventions that I'm not going to really talk about those. That's more spoiler-ish. But so even though I normally watch these the Friday of the week in which I get them, the friend I watched it with was busy, which meant that I didn't watch it until this week. And I actually really liked this one. A lot of Thriller Bark has just been kind of fun, amusing, but not necessarily living up to exciting, I suppose. Which is pretty easy to do because, you know, you kind of have to make sure your main characters aren't boring, I guess. And let's just say that as it came closer to the conclusion here, and then I think it finally concluded, I actually found this to be quite enjoyable in the story arc. It is definitely not top tier One Piece stuff, but it was definitely better than the rest of Thriller Arc. It came to a nice conclusion. I think it was better than the previous story arc. I'm not sure if I'm actually remembering One Piece or something else. So, I'm not sure if... Okay, yeah, those are definitely very One Piece characters. That was definitely One Piece. There we go. Now I'm remembering. I don't remember the context under which that story arc happened, but Thriller Bark was fun. At least concluded in a better way than some of the more recent stuff, I think. And I've heard that it gets really good again after this, and I'll have to see. Last but not least, anime-wise, I've started watching Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works TV series Season 1. You know, this is the nicer picture, so I'm going to hold it like this. And I guess right now I've watched 9 episodes, I think, which includes episode 0. So I just watched episode 8. And I'm actually really quite enjoying it. This is a very good version of it. Now, I'm saying this stuff having only ever watched anime versions of the Fate stuff, and I thought the first originally animated Fate Stay Night, I thought that one was okay. My understanding is that it is a bit messy compared to the visual novel version, and maybe not exactly a good portrayal of what made that popular per se, but it was still good. And I've mentioned Fate Zero before, how I kind of felt a little out of place because it's a prequel that spoils the sequel, and I couldn't introduce people to the Fate Stay Night universe through Fate Zero because that one just starts up way too fast. It's not explaining anything, etc., etc. And then there was the Fate Stay Night Limited Blade Works movie, and of the 3 of those, you know, the movie, of course, has to start things up really quick as well because it's got the contents of an entire TV series to tell in this span of one movie. So the pacing of that one is quick, but that one kind of gave the right idea in terms of why people really fell in love with this universe, I thought. But none of those 3 options were really good for introducing people to Fate Stay Night, and that's why Unlimited Blade Works kind of has quite a bit more of a magnifying glass to how they're doing this series, simply because I'm watching it asking myself, can I use this can I use this, or can I recommend this for people who want to get into the Fate Stay Night universe who haven't already watched Fate Zero got confused and then figured things out along the way, and then just they already know most of Fate Stay Night's secrets. I say most, not all. But it's been good. The real issue is episode 0, because episode 0 was the first one I saw, and it's good. The issue is that I was worried that Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works was maybe going to be told more from the point of view of Rin Tosaka, which was bad because Emiya is a really good protagonist for introducing people into the universe, because he's a noob to the universe as well. This is a concept that I can't remember the name of, but the entire idea is you want to have somebody in your story who needs to be informed if the audience needs to be informed. And there's a lot of stuff in here. Otherwise, if you have a character who already knows everything and they just happen to mention the stuff in conversation or whatnot, it either feels weird, out of place, or it doesn't really stick. So, episode 0, I was kind of concerned, but now, episode 1, of course, went back to Emiya, and basically, episode 0 and episode 1 take place during the same time frame. They just tell the story from the point of view of each of those characters. Emiya is our main character, at least now, simply because it makes sense for him to be the main character. He's the one that needs to be informed most to tell us the audience. He's the one that's supposed to grow the most so that we can feel excited by what happens to him. I've heard that there's more Rin Tosaka maybe from people who... I don't know if they've actually seen some of the older stuff. And within the first 8 episodes, it's actually told very, very much like Fate Stay Night, the first one, except from a more Type Moon, okay, this is our work, let's make sure it's done right perspective. So, one thing I can definitely say that I really like better about Unlimited Blade Works over the first animated series is the relationship between Emiya and Saber is a lot more entertaining. I mean, this is just the main thing, I think, where with the first one big problem with that is Emiya came off as a little too white knightish, as in there wasn't a lot of thought behind his stuff, and he was helping people without them wanting to be helped, even if they needed to be helped or not. And so he kind of felt like he didn't have a form of respect for people that he was trying to help, I guess. And Saber, on the other hand, also kind of didn't. Just never really liked any stuff, even if he was like helping her to help her. I feel like in Unlimited Blade Works, their interaction is more respectful. Even if some of the same confrontational concepts come up, they respect the fact that the other one comes from their point of view. So he's not helping them because they're girls. He's helping them because they're people in danger. He's helping them because I promised I would fight with this person. Things like that. And maybe those were present in the first one. I don't remember it from my rewatch a handful of months ago. Actually, that could have been about a year ago, couldn't it? It's really easy to forget all of the minute details, let alone apparently I can't English tonight. Okay, so another interesting thing is Rin Tosaka. Character-wise, she feels different, but more right. Like, Rin Tosaka in the original... Sorry, I keep saying original, but I want to say first. Rin Tosaka in the first animated Fate Stay Night, she was a very tsundere person. I mean, she just always felt very tsundere. This time, she's that, but it feels like she's also more fun. So they're not shoehorning her into only doing this tsundere thing all the time. And I think one example is the smile. And if you've seen this, you probably know what I mean, because the characters talked about it in an early episode, and you really you get opportunity to really feel that, and that one was quite amusing, and I don't think it's too spoilerish. It's the sort of thing where when you feel it, you'll understand it, I think. But yeah, it's like a very subtle difference about her that's a huge difference at the same time. It's sort of like if Batman was considered it okay to kill people or something like that. You know, it's maybe a small thing, but at the same time it's a huge thing. And maybe that's a bad example because killing people is generally considered a big thing, but maybe it's not that big of a thing from the point of view of the fact that Batman is a vigilante. And the thing that makes Batman awesome is the fact that he goes out of his way to not go too far. And there's definitely been different ways that's been played around with. And of course, you know, some of the stuff is like, okay, you strapped a bomb to that guy, that definitely killed him. And so some of the Tim Burton stuff, for example, is just not going to be that kind of Batman. But it's one of those subtle things, you know, vigilante doesn't kill, but makes a big difference for the character. And in the same way, Rin Tosaka not feeling completely tsundere kind of makes her feel like a more realistic person. And in fact, that actually ties pretty closely into the Emiya and Saber thing. Give or take the fact that in real life you kind of expect people to... You hope people understand each other better, but real life isn't as fun. So, obviously this one is the one that has the most to talk about, but that makes sense because I can talk a lot more about it without spoiling it, and overall I'm looking forward to finishing it, and since I did watch the Unlimited Blade Works movie, I think I know what all surprises lie in store for me. So it's interesting to see if that'll actually be the case, or if maybe maybe it will be. And I'm mostly just wondering where the season 1 and 2 break happened, and it kind of feels like things are flowing fast. Like they could have done the contents of that movie in 13 episodes instead of just paced like this, maybe. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes as it flows over into season 2, which most of y'all don't know for certain because I think you're only 3 or 4 episodes into it. I don't know. Anyways, enjoying it. So, as I guess other non-anime stuff, let's see, I caught up on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2, although I might be behind again because I don't know when the episodes air, but it meant that I watched the next 4 episodes, so I was only 4 episodes behind, and that's pretty much it. So it was a pretty anime weekend, or probably just week, because there was a good handful of stuff compared to those weeks of not doing anime. And there was some monster hunting in there, but I think anime, I was able to focus on it once I got out of zombieing on the internet mode, I guess. As for ordering anime, I haven't done that yet, so I don't have anything too major to comment on about upcoming stuff yet. Although I did notice that I accidentally pre-ordered Denki Volume 2 twice. So I'm going to have to clear that up. Other than that, nothing else is coming to mind. It's, yeah, I can't help but think there was something interesting on the horizon, but outside of me ordering it, who knows. So I'll end the update there. Y'all have a nice week.